happens when you go beyond the highest possibilities of what we can imagine can be done with superpowers, when characters become so powerful that we simply are left wondering if there actually is any villain that could actually stand to even challenge them. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we'll be counting down 10 more Beyond Omega level superheroes on this part 2 of our list. Number 10. Darwin. As we discussed in part 1, the term Omega actually comes from Marvel's world of superheroes, and specifically mutant kind, where the classification is used to denote a being who exhibits the utmost capabilities and control when it comes to their power set, making them the most powerful being with said power set. For the purpose of this list, however, we'll be using the term to simply talk about heroes who are so overpowered that they are considered god tier or beyond Omega, if you will. Darwin actually happens to be a mutant, and though on my part 1 I kind of shied away from mentioning Marvel's mutants on that list because we had already discussed them on their own Beyond Omega list, someone that wasn't on that list and hasn't officially been classified as Omega or beyond, or at least I don't think he has yet, but that I think probably should be considered such, is Darwin. Darwin's mutant power allows him to adapt and evolve his body and power sets as necessary for situations as they arise, and he's proven in the past just how powerful and deadly he could be. We also learned how valued the Children of the Vault considered his power set to be when they set out to capture him so that they could incorporate his powers into their own evolution, when Darwin was sent on a mission with fellow mutants, Sync and Wolverine, aka Laura Kinney, inside the Vault. You know your powers are crazy when the Children of the Vault are like, we need that, we gotta mix that up in our thing. We want to be able to have that power. Number 9. Nova. The Nova we're talking about here is Richard Rider. Rich was given the powers of the Nova Force by one of the last surviving members of the Nova Corps, who was forced to pass his powers on as he was severely wounded and dying. Stumbling upon Richard Rider on Earth and hoping that the human who received the powers would carry on his mission and use them well and wisely. I mean, if you gotta give powers, you gotta give powers, you just gotta cross your fingers and hope. As Nova, Richard Rider is insanely powerful and also gains access to a wealth of information being directly linked to the Xandarian world mind, which grants him all the knowledge that Xandarian culture has amassed over the years. The Xandarian world mind can also take control of Nova as needed, and protects him against mental attacks. Although he also kinda needs it to keep himself stable, because without it, the sheer power of the Nova Force will overwhelm his mind and body. So it's like a blessing, and it's also kind of like a weakness. Number 8. Captain Atom. Captain Atom hails from the DC universe, and is kind of similar to Nova in terms of the idea and look of his character. His power set is based in nuclear power and quantum physics. His origin story is somewhat similar to Dr. Manhattan's of Watchmen, at least in the New 52 continuity. However, instead of being altered by a tragic accident there, he volunteered for an experiment which ended up going kinda wrong, resulting in him being seemingly atomized. Later on, he would reappear as an energy-based life form though. Yay! And then obviously, superpowers. His powers allow him to alter reality, create force fields, and leave him superhumanly powered when it comes to strength, speed, and durability, making him pretty much invulnerable as well. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, you can also check us out over on Facebook, where we have tons of goodies coming your way, and you know, if you follow us there, hopefully we'll have some more cool stuff coming your way soon, because there's definitely lots of cool projects I'd love to do. Can't talk about them, but check it out. There'll be more stuff soon. Number 7. Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer was gifted with one of the greatest powers in the Marvel Universe, that of the power cosmic. He's known for often being the Herald of Galactus, at least initially that was his claim to fame, and that was how he was granted his power as well. Previous to that, Norrin Radd was simply a man who sacrificed his own life to save his planet and the lives of those he loved, including his beloved. He ended up pledging himself to Galactus so that Galactus would spare his planet, and became his herald, forgetting his previous life as he was imbued with the power cosmic and taking up the mantle of Silver Surfer. In the future, seen in Thanos Wins, not only does Silver Surfer have the power cosmic, but he also has the black matter powers of the Fallen One, taking up the mantle in the future as he makes his final stand against King Thanos, also wielding Thor's hammer Mjolnir as well, being considered worthy enough to wield said hammer. He does not succeed in beating King Thanos, unfortunately, but this version of the character is still super OP. If I was King Thanos, I wouldn't want to face that version of the Fallen One. I'd be like, no, not gonna do that. Number 6. Superman. Superman, especially before his power set settled, was a pretty crazy powerful guy. Back in the old days, Superman's powers were actually whatever the story called for them to be. So basically, he could do it all. But even now that his power set is more concrete in modern storytelling, more established, he's still known for being one of the most powerful heroes around. Not only is he invulnerable with super strength, but he's also super fast, and super smart as a result. One power I feel like people always overlook is his speed, and his capacity to learn things extremely quickly as a result. It's like the best speed reader ever. While Superman might not be as fast as the fastest of the speedsters in the DC universe, the fact that he has this power combined with all of his other ones makes him insanely well-rounded and unstoppable when he needs to be. There's also an alternate version of Superman, All-Star Superman, who gets his powers boosted to an insanely high level but becomes so powerful that his powers are basically killing him. However, once he ends up merging with, fixing, and in essence living on the sun, this surprisingly prolongs his life and also allows him to remain super powered. Unfortunately, in that last year before he left the Earth, he was like, I'm gonna do a lot of cool stuff so that I leave you guys in a good spot, because I'm gonna die. But then he didn't die, so it's all good. Number 5. Molecule Man. Molecule Man started out being a major villain, but later on, much later on I guess, before he seemingly dies, he redeems himself by joining forces with the Future Foundation / Fantastic Four in an effort to return the Marvel multiverse to normal by reconstructing it. While aiding Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and his family in this quest, Molecule Man was unfortunately killed. However, it should be noted that Molecule Man kind of exists across the multiverse, and parts of him were actually used to like tether said universes that were reconstructed. So in a way, he could still be alive. He kind of was still potentially able to come back, but then they gathered his pieces and they got stolen, so I don't know if we'll ever see Molecule Man again, but I hope so, because I'd love to see him more in a hero role. Molecule Man is Owen Reese, whose powers allow him to manipulate matter at a molecular level and warp reality. He has at times placed mental blocks in his own mind to prevent himself from using his powers to alter living life forms. He seems to go back and forth when it comes to him being able to alter living organic material as a result. And while he is really powerful when it comes to reality warping, he also is still quite squishy, which is why he's ranking lower. And also, you know, he was a villain for a long time. I acknowledge, but I'm just here to see Molecule Man be a hero, friends. I'm just here for it. Let me know if you also want to see Molecule Man come back and be a good guy. Number 4. Raven. Raven is a hero that we don't normally hype up when we're talking about like the most powerful ones out there. And yet, she really is. Although she struggles sometimes with her darker side, when she can keep that in check, Raven is actually one of the most powerful magic users in the world of DC. That's right, I said it. And that's pretty impressive considering how many heavy hitters there are in that realm. In the magical realm. What also makes Raven so powerful is her dark heritage, so being able to harness that energy while kind of keeping it in check can make her extremely powerful. Of course, there is always the risk that Raven will turn dark, but it's important to remember that she is a hero first, and while this has happened to her before, she always ends up coming back to the side of good in the end, because ultimately Raven defines who she is and wants to be, as opposed to allowing her heritage to define her. I also always think of that future Raven from Teen Titans Go, who becomes the goddess of the universe after she defeats her father Trigon. She's really powerful there. Also, I know people are going to be like, wow man, to Teen Titans Go? Really? Is that where we're going? I like Teen Titans Go, guys. Sorry, I said it. I like it. It's funny. It's ridiculous. Number 3. Adam Eve. Adam Eve is probably one of the most powerful superheroes that I've fallen head over heels in love with most recently. She hails from Image Comics, specifically Invincible and its comic book universe, and now also its animated universe. She is the main love interest and partner in romance and business to the main character of the Invincible series, Mark Grayson, aka Superhero Invincible. But she's also so much more than that. Adam Eve is Samantha Eve Wilkins, a powerhouse in her own right, who I might argue is actually more powerful in a lot of ways than even Mark himself, who is pretty off the charts powerful himself. Adam Eve can manipulate matter on a molecular level, effectively allowing her to alter reality, and what's more, she doesn't use her powers to create like unlimited wealth or anything selfish, but instead at one point actually takes a break from superheroing to travel the world and help those who actually need her help in third world countries and could benefit from her powers and her abilities. Basically, she's being a real world superhero. You know what I mean? I mean, she still got superpowers, but you know, she's using them to just do good things on the ground. We also learn much later in the Invincible series that she's basically immortal and cannot die. kind of spoilers, but also Invincible's been out for a long time, friends, so if you haven't read it, sorry, you should do it. You should go read it. Go check it out. Number 2, Jean Grey. As I said before, I tried to stay away from mutants on part 1 of this list because I felt that they had been mentioned a ton when it came to the whole Omega and beyond Omega categorizations. However, if we're just talking about superheroes who are beyond OP when it comes to beyond Omega, then at some point I kinda do need to talk about Jean. And so here she is on our part 2. Jean isn't just a powerhouse because she's tied to the Phoenix Force either. While she has been the Phoenix multiple times, she also is powerful enough just standing on her own. In fact, I think Jean is so powerful that she often holds back because she knows just how dangerous fully letting go would be. She's seen the darkness in herself and what a threat it can be if she taps into that. Jean is often depicted as being very much in control of her powers in modern comics because I think over the years she has learned how important that is with someone who is just as much of a powerhouse as she is. Like if Jean wanted to, she could probably do a lot of crazy stuff. But she's like, I probably shouldn't do that because it would be a bad idea. Number 1, Dr. Manhattan. I mentioned Dr. Manhattan on part 1 of my list, but really only in passing. He was mentioned in another point, but he wasn't the main point of that point. I figured I couldn't do a Beyond Omega superhero list without mentioning him, but I didn't really want to give him a spot on that part 1 because at the end of the day, he gets hyped a lot. We talk about him a lot on this channel. That being said, he does deserve it. So as soon as I heard that we were doing a part 2 for this list, I was like, okay, I gotta give him a spot on this one. I mean, I can't deny him that. And unsurprisingly, here he is all the way at the top because yeah, Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan can basically warp reality as he sees fit. In essence, he is one of the major causes of the creation of the New 52, at least as far as reasoning goes within canon and continuity. Dr. Manhattan might be a little too ambivalent for some to consider him a hero, but overall I'd say he is a force for good. He just usually doesn't get involved because he's so OP, and this means that he sees other beings and their issues as generally being kind of beneath him. Yeah, not a very typical hero mentality or attitude, but hey, Dr. Manhattan also isn't your typical hero, being that he originated from Alan Moore's Watchmen, which itself is its own fantastic universe that examines heroes under a different perspective, which I think we all could use a little bit more of when we're reading comics. Which hero do you think is the most powerful? What do you think classifies a hero as beyond Omega? Which power sets do you think are the most inherently OP? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.